Welcome back. This is Joanna Pilatovich for you, and I have a subject about raising vibration. This is so-called raising vibration. I hear about it recently, past months or maybe years, all the time. Everybody wants to raise the vibration of themselves. What does it mean? I understand it a little bit differently. I understand that about self-realizing more. So looking at the mirror of our own emotions, and there is a lot of tricks on the spiritual development, growth, however you want to call it. One of it is the absolute basics. So everybody wants to have this enormously great experience, have lucid dreamings, astral travel. People talk about alien contacts, they're very excited, but there is nothing much possible if we do not deal with something basics, which are our emotions. And I agree with a lot of spiritual teachers that say that if we do not manage our emotions in this lifetime, we are going to be pulled back in the cycle of reincarnation. It's not a bad thing, though. Some people would love that. So there is this saying in the Bible that you won't go through to the kingdom of God with all the luggage of materialistic things and possessions and so on. But I don't know how much is truth of that, and perhaps, just perhaps, and this is just my opinion, perhaps it's not about material things. It's rather obvious that we won't take anything material to another world, to astral plane. What we are, however, stuck with is our heaviness of our negative emotions, right? And what if that luggage is not material possessions but negative emotions? Just a thought. And a lot of people also say how to get rid of anger, sadness, fear, and all the negative emotions, you name it. In my opinion, I wouldn't. It's our arsenal, means, tools that only because we know how they feel, we have a contrast. We cannot perceive love if we don't know what fear is. Perhaps, again, just perhaps, it's not about getting rid of something, but it's about making ourselves more and more conscious. So this emotion that is unpleasant, because we call it as negative, but it's unpleasant for us, and it is. It causes our trouble, discord in our functioning every day. So perhaps it's about to transforming, and I know this is not the most precise word here, but maybe it's about dealing, elaborating, getting conscious about that emotion, letting it feel for a second, and not any minute longer, because a lot of us are growing, sustaining, watering that emotion for the whole lifetime, living in the past. And this is what Joe Dispenza was talking about, and many other great teachers, Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, and yeah, you name it, a lot, Louise Hay, a lot of them, that we are living in the past. Every day from the morning, we are waking up with the thought that if we are not aware of, it creates our day for us. So we act on some sort of automatic pilot. So perhaps it is about consciousness, that this emotion is repeating in my life, and how do I work with that? So instead of ignoring it and trying to meditate too fast, I never advise to meditate if we are in the negative state of mind, because what's happening most of the time, we just pushing away that emotion, and it's harder to get to the content of that emotion. Behind that emotion, there is a content for us to understand. There is a gift, there is a message that is there for us to discover. And if we're just getting rid of that so it's non-existent, we are depleting ourselves from our personal tools. Just my opinion. And I always say that I suggest everybody goes through a personal therapy. In Poland, long time ago, there was this saying, oh my God, go to therapist because it's too late for you to heal your head, so heal your whatever. So it had very bad connotation, and I think it doesn't have that bad connotation anymore. I find enormous value when I can be led by someone and I don't have to psychoanalyze myself. That's why I recommend therapy, because people who are doing that for years are trained, and in a relatively safe environment we can confront ourselves with emotions or situations we do not want to deal in our life, because people who are confronting us, they are also reacting to us. So it's not a pleasant way. It's not objective. It's also not trustworthy. They are maybe also in anger, sadness. They are blaming us for something. So that confrontation doesn't work so well. But a therapist can do that in a most objective way, and letting us take time to stand in the shoes of ourselves, this person, and observe our mind. And this is where I always recommend process-oriented psychology and the books of Arnold Mindell, Shaman Body, Quantum Mind, and taking time with yourself, even when you go for that therapy. So you need your therapist less and less, and you are more and more able to do those exercises that he describes in his book. You can do it themselves, and they are working. If you put your effort into it, they are working. Sure, you cannot maybe straight away do everything, but the concept is that it almost is never what we think what it is about. It's always those two parts of ourselves. And Arnold Mindell was talking about primary and secondary process. And our work is to be more and more congruent about the first one and the second one. And we all have those intentions that we are associating ourselves with what we want. We want to be good, kind, helpful, prosperous, healthy, so on. But the secondary process is something usually what troubles us, and we're trying to push it away. So before this content, this material comes up, we already pushed it away because it wasn't nice. We do not want to deal with unnice things. So with a spiritual growth or raising vibration, self-realization, the most important part is to deal with own emotions, because this is a big tool, big part of the creating our reality. And there is one interesting thing. When I was having my one of the first teachers for acting, the lady was amazingly telling us about the arsenal of emotions, how we need every single emotion in order to be able to be good actors. She compared them to a horse, that whether the horse is galloping and taking you over, or you are able to control your horse and you are able to cooperate with it. You're not really superior to the horse. The horse is a big animal and can absolutely kill you. So so the idea is about to cooperate, communicate, and create a relationship between one and another, and knowing that every emotion is connected to the role, and you can switch the role anytime you want to. And this is also what Arnold Mindell was talking about in Shaman's Body. Warning in the shamanism, warning that people who are on a certain level of development, they could get this egoistic attitude to be stuck in a one role only, and this is the end, this is the trap. And the thing is to be able to switch from one role to another, and if the role is not pleasant, even if it's only 5 minutes, we can still get another perspective to lessen the impact of this, what's happening in our life. So it's just the beginning. It's not like, you know, the sickness will disappear or suddenly relationships will be better, but it's just the one step that can help us for this 5 minutes. And if we have the relief for 5 minutes, maybe it's possible that we can extend it for a little bit more each time. So these things are not that exactly quick like we want to, but they are working. They take effort, they take time. And jumping too quickly when in something in life, our life wants to happen, jumping too quickly from one to another, from sadness to joy, is not really dealing with that emotion. And if we cannot be functional, sure, we need someone else that will help us. So we go into that emotion only for 1 hour with a therapist, and then it's safe. And then we can keep on ignoring it, and it's fine. Because this is our protective mechanism, and it also makes us functional. I hope this is understood what I'm trying to portray here about the importance of the basics in the spiritual growth and how these emotions are crucial. Because emotions, the feelings and the vibration or a sensation in the body, plus intent and power of the word, thought, create our reality or sustain our reality the way we created it. And we are all here learning, so we are all here on the same path. You know, we probably wouldn't be here on earth together if we do not have similar lessons to learn, to help each other to create our reality. So this is more or less about that part. Another interesting training I got was from the course, A Course in Miracles, and I never read the whole book, and for me it was too much about this Christianity and these beliefs, but I started to do the lessons. I also never got into fully through 665 lessons that you can do every day for the whole year, but I got through a lot, and they are really designed the way that you can be thrown off the perception that you came here with and you were programmed with. And they are very simple. It takes you 5 minutes per day, and you don't even have to think about it. For example, you have a lesson, nothing I see in this room means anything, and you just randomly for several seconds in the morning and in the evening, and this is it, point and say, and anything in your room, and say this flower, that lip, that ring, that build, picture doesn't mean anything. And then you start slowly realize what meaning you put into that item, how it is meaningful for you. You are the only one who gives the meaning to items. I do not understand anything I see in this room. This is interesting also from the psychological point of view. There is a exercise like that when people are sort of creating, like deleting the meaning of the item. What is it for? Like the book is to read. It's another one, by the way, that I recommend. The leader of the martial artists is a martial artist also by Arnold Midel. So coming back to what I wanted to say about switching our self-perception, that the book is only to be read, but if you give it to a child, the child doesn't know that yet, so it's more creative than us. So that lesson is about to do that for you, to switch you off the normal perception and see the wider perspective. I am never upset for the reason I think. I could go on and on, but so now from the items you move on to the thoughts, to the emotions, and you start gaining this awareness slowly, step by step, and it's happening in a very natural way because you don't give more thoughts to it than 5 minutes per day. Everyone can do that. And a lot of people told me also that the results were amazing. I also had this sort of experience that after several lessons, it came a time when I was looking at the things around me and they started to shine, vibrate. I could see the energy around the items. And some people who are practicing yoga, they telling me the same thing. And we also had these moments when we look at the people and we stand in one position and we see colors, we see energy around, everything is more clear, vibrant, brighter. And of course, this is not a goal of the personal development, but these are just nice side effects on our path. Considering the training, there is another one, the Sixth Sense. I recommend also as a training because it powerfully develops our intuitive mind. And the interesting part about it is when we are dealing with our own emotions, our own congruency between our processes, what's happening, it's also easier to understand other people and their processes, and therefore instead of reacting to what's happening with them, we could direct the situation towards something better. It is happening in a sort of a natural way after such practice. I hope this was more or less precise. The power of the words, the power of intention, thoughts, emotions, all matter in our personal development. And if anyone is interested in truly so-called raising vibrations or making our life more inspiring and creating a better world, then that would be the most important thing to do, to pay attention what emotions are within us and how we can work with that first, because the most of the wars are starting in our bedroom, right? So the most of the conflicts in the world starts from us, from the conflict within ourselves. If we come to the point that we do not have a conflict within ourselves, and we all do, we do have a lot of them, and the more we are aware of them, we can start to accept them and deal with them until they naturally dissolve. So it's also very important to admit it, to go through that process and say, okay, I'm dealing with that thing right now for 2 years. I need to recycle maybe that material so I can be a better version of myself, better person. First of all, for me, if I am better for me, then probably people around me can also benefit from that. I hope that makes sense for you. Please let me know if you have any questions. I will make my best to answer and to do more materials about it. And I am wishing you wonderful, inspiring, lovely, sunny day. Big smile on your face, in your heart, and all the best. Bye bye.